Infinity Bros podcast, the only podcast that's perfectly balanced, as all things should be. My name is Isaac Edlin. I am your host tonight, and joining me, I have one other Infinity Bro. It is my good friend, Mark Jones. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing great. Glad to be here with the wonderful Isaac Edlin. And I'm ready for an old school format show. So this is for
Let's go.
Old listeners. This is how we used to do things in the past.
Yeah, throwback to the COVID days when literally nothing was coming out, and we were scrambling for any type of content. But I feel like we came up with some really fun segments that honestly I miss, and I'm excited to come back to on this episode of the Infinity Bros podcast. So, new listeners, welcome. Merry Christmas. Happy holidays to everybody listening. I'm hoping this episode is coming to you on December 24th, Christmas Eve. So Merry Christmas. We're going to have a little segment at the end to cap it off in holiday cheer style. So, but first, we want to let you guys know that we're going to be rating quite a few things on this podcast. Mark likes to spice things up, and you know, Mark, before we even get into that rating thing, I want to let you know that you are probably the most interesting Infinity Bro.
How is that?
Because I cannot for the life of me, if I watch something, I have no clue how you're going to respond to it. Like almost every other bro, I feel like I can pretty much gauge how well they're going to like something. You are the one that I cannot put a finger on. I have no idea what you're going to rate something or how you're going to respond to something. So I always love hearing your takes because I'm always interested in what you have to say about it.
Well, I'd probably say that's probably me being, I'm very much an emotional watcher. So like if I'm watching a movie during a significant like period of time in my life, it can really have an effect on a movie. Like watching Thor: Love and Thunder was pretty special for me because it was like months after my daughter was born, and you know, had a real connection with the villain Gore there. So you know, dude was only killing gods because they let his daughter die.
That's true. Yeah. Interesting how you pulled that emotional connection, and you know, not the one with Thor.
I've learned if I'm in the Marvel universe, I'm turning into a bad guy. I'm not turning into Thor. I'm turning into Gore. And I get the Necro Sword, and I'm destroying everyone.
You are a government employee, and you know, like hardworking, and that kind of person that would lead up to kind of like a villain backstory. I feel like so.
Could you imagine?
You know that, or just imagine that, or being a Stark Industries employee. Apparently, that's a huge.
Objectively, Isaac, I disagree with you.
Objectively, okay. All right, here we go. For those of you who don't know, I called out one of our good friends on the use of objectively, and now it's just a running bit in.
Eventually,
we'll just lives.
We will forget what objectively actually means because of how badly we use it now.
How often we use it now.
The wrong way.
That and literally, but like I feel like everybody uses literally. Not incorrectly, just like overuses it. But
literally
that and literally and objectively, just they get me. They make me stop and look at the person that says it, and I'm like, do you really understand what you're saying right now?
You're a communications major.
That is also true. The person that said it was a communications major. But anyways, that was a side note. For those of you guys who are new listeners, we have a special rating system on the Infinity Bros podcast, and here's that rating system.
Here on the Infinity Bros podcast, everything is ranked from a 0 to 6 point scale. 0 meaning horrible, and 6 meaning absolutely excellent. If all of the Infinity Bros rank something a 6, it gets an Infinity Step.
I don't anticipate, Mark, that we're really going to be spoiling much because I don't think we're going to be talking about a whole lot of new stuff. Maybe a little bit here and there. So I don't even think I'm going to bother putting the spoiler warning. But we are going to be doing a few different segments, throwback to like we said again, the Infinity Bros segments of old. We're going to be doing some nerd news. And yeah, I know, right?
And I get to react to it.
Yes, you do. Actually, you're the main focus of this nerd news segment. I've got something good for you, Mark. And we're going back to Hot and Snot, some things that we liked and didn't like recently, and we're ending the episode with a good old top 6 Christmas movies.
You gave me the top 6, and I finished it within moments after that.
Wow. Okay,
I had my top 6 just raring.
I'm really interested because I struggled with this one, and I think it's because there's so many good Christmas movies out there that it's hard for me to like separate them.
And I went legit. I didn't like add like Batman Returns or Die Hard. I went legit Christmas movies.
No way.
Yeah,
I thought for sure Batman Returns is going to be on your list.
I had to be honest when I was going through it. I was like, no, I gotta not be funny here. I'm gonna be legit with my Christmas movie watching because I take Christmas seriously, guys.
Way seriously. Oh my gosh! And another kind of running inside joke in our friend group is that there's about half of us, I should say you because I'm not in that half, that are big Hallmark movie fans, and half of us that are not. I do not like Hallmark movies. I think the predictability of them just makes them not enjoyable for me.
Have to be
you are the opposite though, right?
Yeah, none of those movies are going to be my top 10 or top 100. They're not like good quality. I mean, they're just like good ones to have on in the background. Yeah, they're good. And when I lived in Victoria with a bunch of the guys, and we have a mutual friend Elliot who lives in Arizona, who's even a bigger fan of them.
Shout out Elliot.
Yeah, shout out Elliot. There you go. It's like we watched like for 2 years straight, or however many years we were living there together. It would be like all Christmas, leading up to Christmas, just watching Hallmark Christmas movies, like playing video games. We had 2 giant TVs in that
college guys just watching Hallmark movies.
We were post college. We were masters. Okay, yeah. We were getting our master's degrees.
That's true. Yes, you're correct.
So I guess we were college guys, but getting our masters, not those lowly bachelor degrees that we already had.
We're past our bachelor days. We're in our postgraduate days, and we're watching Hallmark movies together now.
And playing NCAA 14 on the Xbox 360. The good Christian men should.
Yeah, hey, there's a lot of other things that you could have been doing, but that's what you're doing, and that's what counts. So there you go. So Mark, nerd news. It's been a long time since we've done nerd news, but let's do some nerd news.
Nerd it up.
Hey Zane, I was looking into getting into this Gunpla thing. There's one called the Unicorn Banshee. What the heck is that all about? Actually, Jarrett, what you're thinking of is RX-0 Unicorn Gundam 2 Banshee, which is from the Mobile Suit Gundam. Actually, you know what? It's time for nerd news.
All right, so the first part of nerd news here, I've got just some news, and we'll react to it. Number 1 is, what if? First episode dropped today of season 2. They are releasing 1 episode a day for the next 8 days.
9 days. I just watched it. I think it says 9 days.
I was counting today. Yeah, I was counting today. So like today plus the next 8 days. So 9 days total. But what do you think of this release schedule? Because like, hey, I'm not opposed to getting all of these episodes at once, but like, why not just drop them all at once? And why the 1 a day thing? Is this like obviously it's Christmas themed, like opening 1 a day or something like that? Like, what do you think of this?
Oh, I'm all for it, but I was interested, like, why not do their normal format of like once, every week,
once a week or something leading up to Christmas? I don't know.
But to me, it might be if they're a fiscal company, if they pump them all out before the new year, does that affect anything on their books for accounting? That was my thought. So
right,
that's where I went, because that's the business I'm in. So
yeah, Mark's always thinking about the financial side of things. Yeah. So,
but I'm all for it, and that might be their other thought. It's like, hey, we're gonna have a bunch of kids that'll be home for the holidays over Christmas break that are just gonna, if they watch this once a day, we get them ticking every day, and maybe they'll watch other stuff, and then it's just selling content at this point. But
yeah,
my opinion.
Yeah,
I'm all for it.
I don't. really care one way or the other. I just thought it was really interesting how they did it this way instead of just like dropping them all at once. But like, hey, cool, whatever. But did you get a chance to catch that first episode of What If yet?
I haven't, because I was just thinking about that before we hopped on. Like, hey, I thought that was dropping December, and then I watched the trailer, and I was like, oh, it's dropping today. That's so
yeah.
And I would have had time. I had a half day today. I could have went and watched it, but didn't catch it. But I'm all in now.
Honestly, I feel like everything is snuck up so fast. I mean, like, so we're here in Minnesota currently tonight as we are recording. It is the 22nd of December. Down here in the cities, we don't have snow, Mark. Do you have snow up there?
It's all melted away.
It melted away. Yeah, we've had a really warm winter, and
climate change. I tell you,
I'm a little climate change. Yeah, it gets you in the end. I'm a little sad because no snow on Christmas. Just, man, as much as we get a ton of snow in Minnesota, and like, you know, by February and March you're sick of it, but like December is like the time where it's fun. I feel like I want snow in December.
I
don't have it.
Talking to my coworker this morning about the last time there was a brown Christmas, and I want to say it was like 10 years ago. Like,
yeah. It was like, I think we were in college. Yeah.
Oh yeah. No, it wouldn't have been my first year. It might have been 2014. Because one of those years we had one of the coldest winters, where they had it was my first year at Crown, where the governor shut down schools because it was so cold. So
we had the polar vortex.
Yeah. So it might have been the year before that or the year after that when we had a brown Christmas. But yeah,
it's just no fun, man. It's not magical.
What is weird down where I'm at, it is the foggiest I've ever experienced. Like, I drove to work today going slow because it was so foggy. I couldn't see more than 10 feet in front of me. So I feel like I'm living in the mist, if you guys know that movie or book by Stephen King. So I'm just expecting weird monsters to show up tomorrow morning. So, you know, whatever. Yeah. Keep your doors shut. Lock your doors.
Maybe it'll be Krampus because it's Christmas.
Well, good thing I'm not a child and I've been a good boy. So
yeah, there you go. Yeah. So, you know, I had a thought that led me down that path that I was going, and I don't remember what it was. But anyways, what if we're back to what if again here? But the episode that just dropped today was what if Nebula joined the Nova Corps. So it was interesting. I did watch it. It's pretty good. I'm excited to see more of What If. I enjoyed What If last season, so
I loved What If. Did they kind of set up like they're going to tell us? Because like before the first season, we didn't know what was really going on. Right. But now we kind of like got even that trailer that they put out. Like, are they setting up a new story or continuing the story?
I assume they will, but you didn't get that sense with this episode. It was pretty much a one-off, as far as I could tell. Like, gotcha. maybe they'll have callbacks to it eventually or something like that. But this seemed like a pretty isolated episode just from watching it. But yeah, it was solid. Give it a 5 out of 6. It was good. There are some fun character intros in this one that they might not show up again because it's What If again, but they make a really fun team with Nebula. So yeah, it's a good one. So yeah, that's our first piece of nerd news. Next up, here we go. It is, shoot, my phone just closed on me. Okay, Insomniac, the maker of the Spider-Man games and Wolverine coming up, had a massive data leak, almost the entire game of Wolverine, along with a crap ton of data, like personal information on the Insomniac employees and stuff like that. But it's like so much of the game that they have available or have developed so far is available that some PC game developers literally put it together and are downloading it and letting people play Wolverine PS5 as a PC like demo mod or something like that.
Two things from that. I love that that's the world we live in, where PC like developers can be like, yeah, I'm going to take this because now it's up in the world. And yeah, it sucks people's information was like leaked. But like the thing on the backside to me is like, well, how did it happen? Did someone open a spam email? How does Sony not have good firewalls set up? Did someone?
Yeah.
Is it more serious? Did someone hack Sony and like threaten them, and then they were like, "Nah, fam," and then they got all this stuff leaked?
Yeah.
Or was it a disgruntled employee that was like, screw these people?
Right. Yeah. And they don't. I'm assuming they don't have that much information about the people that the hackers that leaked it, but it's Insomniac Games, so it's not specifically Sony, just Insomniac Studios. But yeah, I mean, still.
Well, for it being
I don't know, like,
company, you'd think they would have better protection.
You would think so.
Especially
I'm not
on a game that they're going to spend
either,
millions
so I'm
of
not
dollars.
like, yeah, exactly. I don't know exactly how all that works. Like, did they just release all of the information that they had access to? Did they specifically release certain amounts of information? I don't really know how all that works, but it is interesting that they included, or it was included, that had a ton of like data information about the employees and stuff like that. Because you would think that if like you mentioned, this is a tech company, right? Like, it's a software development company. If they don't have the security to keep hackers out of this stuff, why can't these hackers like hack into, like, I don't know, like the government and delete people's student loans or something like that? Like, do something useful instead of like leaking games to people. Like, I don't know. I'm no expert, but it seems like they could be doing something a little more useful.
If hackers want to do white knight stuff, yeah, student loans would be good, but then you're affecting the federal government, so you're really going to get caught.
What that's true. Yeah, you get a lot more.
Is go to all the credit card companies and wipe everyone's credit clean.
There you go.
That's what you do.
Mark, yeah, I'm glad I have you to comment on that, because like I was just like, there's got to be something more productive that you could do than this.
And to me, it's like, when they call it a leak, to me that's like, did they really get hacked, or did they have a disgruntled employee like put stuff out there, or did they do this on purpose because maybe like there was something shady Sony was doing with not paying them or something like that?
Yeah,
because like if it's a hack, to me it'd be like, well, I'm assuming this is intellectual property, so technically they stole intellectual property and they technically broke in. And it's confusing to me why, like, do we not have laws against this stuff for companies for hacking? And so like, so either treat it as like something really bad, or don't call it,
actually, okay, yeah. On that though, GTA 6 also had a massive leak a while back, and they caught the hacker, and they like charged him, like prosecuted him, like he's in jail, like serving time for hacking it. And he literally said, the hacker was like, yeah, I'll do it again if I get out of prison. Which is like, okay, well, so that's where you, man.
With that, because that's what I was going to bring up, the GTA thing, that's hacking. So they can find someone and arrest them. This leak to me means like, I think there's more to it. And like the personal information.
And the fact that we just don't know anything about like how it happened or what happened. It's like something sketch seems to be going on. But Insomniac did release a statement saying that they are going to continue, developing the game, and they're on their normal schedule, all that stuff. There's some people speculating that since so much was leaked, they would just like cancel the project or something like that. And I'm like, don't know about that. Again, don't know much about software development, so I don't even know if that's like an on-the-table type of thing. But Insomniac assured their consumers that they would continue as normal. So there you go. Next thing on Nerd News is Aquaman 2. Just dropped this weekend. Thursday, as of right now, it's Friday night. Thursday showed a sluggish 4.5 million in previews, which if you guys are not familiar with box office numbers, is worse than any other superhero movie this year, including the Marvels and the Flash.
Just the US opening?
Yeah, that's just US.
I would be very interested what this movie does internationally, because last time when the first Aquaman came out, it's big numbers with international. So international theaters love Aquaman, so we'll see how that does.
Yeah,
I have no
it'll
intention
be really interesting
to see this in theaters. My beautiful wife Kelly won't go to it because she's an anti-Amber Heard person, so we won't be going to see that movie together. So
okay, yeah. That's fair. That's fair.
I hope it's good. It's like, it's too bad they're in the waning years of that DC universe. So
right. Well, and this is the last film of the DCEU.
Yeah.
Like moving forward, everything is James Gunn and DCU.
And
So it's almost interesting that they continued with this movie when they knew James Gunn was going to be at the helm. I'm sure it was
it's
mostly
slated,
completed at that point.
It's $1 billion movie.
Right.
But here's my wild take. If I would bet money, given from when they did it to now, if instead of them scrapping that Batgirl movie, and we're in this climate right now, that movie would make more money than this Aquaman movie would. Guarantee it. With Brendan Fraser, Michael Keaton Batman, would have made more money than The Flash. Guarantee it. I would bet the house on that.
Yeah, well, I mean,
and it's a cheaper movie to make.
Yeah, that's also true. Because, you know what? I'm looking. And
James Gunn and Warner Brothers, you're too scared. You're too scared to give the masses what they want. You just want the tax write-off. You suck. Take that, James Gunn.
Oh wow. Okay. Oh no, sorry. I'm looking at different film here. I'm trying to look at the production budget, but I don't see it in this article that I have. I would imagine that it's like decently high because there's a ton of CGI. And the first one, again, like you were saying, Mark, is $1 billion movie. So
they're like underwater most of the movie. Ain't no way they're breathing underwater.
Yeah, I agree. But anyways, not looking good. Just for the Thursday preview, which, you know, in the long run doesn't really mean a whole lot. But
$250 million was how much it costs to make the movie.
250.
Yeah, 200.
That's higher. That's even
200,
higher than
205. I'm sorry.
205.
So
okay. That's about what I was thinking.
And that usually doesn't include the advertising for the movie.
Right. Yeah. Yep. And I, from what I remember, The Flash ended up being, with all its reshoots and all that stuff, ended up being like almost 300 million. So Aquaman 2 is not nearly, you know, the highest budget film that the DCU has had for sure. And the Marvels, I think, was even at 275. Like the Marvels was very high as well.
Yeah,
so
the Flash was 270.
Whew, yeah.
Oh my God, 220. It made 270, so like maybe it got up ahead. Yeah. The Marvels, however, I hate the climate they were in, because that Marvels movie was a fun movie. It was good. People should go see it. But people
they just had a bad storm with the strike and not being able to promote it and stuff like that. Speaking of promotion, though, have you seen almost anything for this Aquaman 2? I feel like the hype is just super low for this.
I've seen a few trailers watching football, but that's about it for live TV. If I,
right.
If they want me to see a trailer for this movie, they better be paying paying sponsors on Instagram or Facebook for me to see it. So
yeah, maybe. I don't recall seeing a whole lot for this movie. I know saw almost nothing for Blue Beetle. Yeah. But Blue Beetle was just was Blue Beetle a theatrical release, or did they?
It was. It was out for like 2 weeks. Yeah.
That was also during the strike as well, though. So that was another tough situation.
And I haven't seen that. I haven't seen that movie or the new Shazam movie, so I'm pretty far behind.
We got some stuff to talk about in Hot and Snot then. So.
All right.
But yeah, anyways, so not tracking great yet. It is a Christmas movie, so it has an extended weekend, with Christmas being on Monday. So I would assume that that's going to pick up, but we'll see. Thoughts on it being the last DCEU movie?
No, they should have scrapped it and just gave us that Batgirl movie. That's my opinion.
Do you think they should have just dropped it on Max and
probably
let people watch it? Yeah.
I mean, at this point, it's like, why? Like, I get that they have to. There's probably contracts that say they have to, and probably with that Batgirl movie, there wasn't contracts like that because no one was like a big name in it. And this being a sequel, I'm sure that's like in Jason Momoa's contract, it has to be released theatrically, just like how Black Widow had to be released theatrically. But it probably is what it is.
True. But anyways, next thing slated for DCU, I believe, is the Creature Commandos animated show. and then I think it's Superman Legacy after that, honestly, which is 2025. So have a little bit of a break in DC content for a
that
while.
and Marvel content. I feel like there's only one Marvel movie coming out next year.
Deadpool 3 is the only Marvel movie coming out next year. Well, I shouldn't say that. It's the only MCU movie coming out next year because we have Madam Web and Kraven coming out next year.
Can't wait for those two. I've been telling
you're
this
my
group,
guy on those, dude.
I have been telling my group, the bros and all my friends and family, I wish they made a Madam Web movie and a Kraven movie, because that's what I've been wanting my whole life. Are those two things? So
specifically, yeah, exactly.
Thank the Lord, 2024 is coming.
Okay, after watching Morbius and how ridiculous that one was, I feel like there could be some merit in watching them ironically,
like The Room.
Like The Room, exactly.
Yeah, that's a bad thing.
It's like, yeah, you watch The Room and you have a good time. Like, it's a terrible movie, but you have a good time. So I feel like in that sense, there may be something there. Kraven looks like just a generic action movie. Like, I don't even know if it's gonna have anything like comic book related at all. It's just gonna be like,
does Morbius show up in either of those movies? Because if he doesn't, so needs to just probably stop making these movies.
Yeah. I honestly would not be shocked if he shows up in a post-credit scene for one of these movies. Kraven would be my bet.
I'm just so surprised that Sony's not like, hey, that Spider-Man movie that we did where we brought back the old Spider-Man did pretty good. They're like, screw Madam Web, screw Kraven the Hunter and Venom. Let's just make more movies with these guys. People won't care that it's, mixing up the continuity, but they're in the universes, so like it works. Yeah. Like, that's surprising to me. They're like, hey, we don't like making a lot of money. We just maybe want to bet that we might make some money.
we want to make our money back with a little bit extra so we can start planning the next one.
Yeah.
yeah.
That's how it feels like. So it's just...
Oh man, it was so funny when Morbius, when Sony re-released Morbius in theaters and it like didn't even make $1 million.
Yeah.
The re-release. Oh my gosh. They misjudged the internet hype on that so badly.
They got trolled.
They did. All right. So that was it for my nerd news. I've got a little bit. Okay, this is still nerd news, but I've got a whole segment for this.
This is little bits.
Here we go. Little bits. It's not little bits because it's not a rumor anymore. Jonathan Majors, convicted of assault and harassment, got fired as Kang in the Marvel Cinematic Universe hours after that went through. And we're left wondering, are they going to recast Kang or are they going to pivot to another big bad? So, first of all, Mark, thoughts on that situation? What do you think how Marvel is going to handle that?
Well, they're not recasting Black Panther, so why would they recast Kang? I mean, I got, like, this is where it's like, if you're going to recast Kang for how big you set this up, because I think they need to, unless they're totally going to pivot, like you said, which they could still. But like, give me a recast of Black Panther, and people like put Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman was great. I'm not taking anything away from Chadwick Boseman. He was great. I wish he was still with us, but it's like the DC doesn't marry to one Batman. There's not just one 007. Right. Like, this is a movie. These are stories. These are characters to continue the story. It's like,
yeah. And we've been hearing rumors that they are greenlighting a Black Panther 3.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is like, oh man, we're gonna do another one.
And I really love the joke meme of like Terrence Howard coming back and playing Kang. I am all for that. I am 100% behind, because he's a good actor, so he would do good. Mm-hmm. So there's
we're stepping on the toes of my segment here. So okay, here's
you asked me a question, but I lost my mind.
No, okay, here we go. I have a few lists for you. Number 1, if Marvel were to recast Kang, I've got a list of actors here that I'm going to read off. It's a lightning round. First reaction to the actor that I read off. Would you want them as Kang? And quick reaction to that actor or actress in that role.
Actress.
I don't know. We'll find out.
Is Robert Downey Jr. on the list? That's the real question.
No comment. Okay, here we go. Here's the list. Terrence Howard. That was my first.
Yep, I'm all in on that. Like that'd be at this point my top choice.
Okay, John Boyega.
He'd be a good one. I don't think I'd want him as a villain. I think he'd be better served as a hero in the MCU. But here nor there.
Giancarlo Esposito.
I don't think he's too old for Kang, in my opinion. I would like to see him as like, because did they cast an Xavier? He might be a good Xavier or like a Magneto. I think he'd be a good Magneto. That'd be a good, especially modernized Magneto thing. Now him being like,
right.
His Magneto's like a Holocaust survivor in like the OG comic books. So like, how could you make it?
Right.
Modernized.
Comparable,
Anyways, going on.
Modernized. Yeah. Okay.
But he'd be a good villain.
Aldous Hodge.
What is he in?
Hawkman. He played Hawkman in Black Adam.
Oh. You might have a contender for Terrence Howard. Thanks for. I was going to try. He was good. That Black Adam movie, awful. But his performance and Pierce Brosnan's performance, like chef's kiss. Those two guys.
Yeah.
So
I agree. Okay, I'm probably going to butcher this name, but you might recognize it anyways. Chukwudi Iwuji, who played High Evolutionary in Guardians of the Galaxy 3.
No. High Evolutionary still alive, so.
Yeah, I put that name on there because there's been people saying that he...
I mean, would he been a better choice originally for Kang?
He could be potentially 100%. A variant.
He could, but then we get into confusion, and then if you're going to do that, then you should just give Miss Marvel her actual powers.
Right. Yep. I agree. Denzel Washington.
Oh, also like great, but too old in my opinion. Like give me an older villain because I feel like Kang. If you're going to have Kang, I mean, and that's the other thing. Kang's can be whatever age, whatever. But like to me, it's like I want Kang to be like kind of that younger looking, younger vibe.
Right.
But he'd be great. Will Smith? Get him out. Don't want him.
No.
So Will Smith had his time in this 100% if he's playing, if he is playing a dude as another dude.
As another dude. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Man, you totally stole my thunder on that one. You said that name already. Okay. That's it for Kang. I have the same. I shouldn't say the same. I have another list for a different character that potentially could be pivoted to in the future of the MCU. Dr. Doom.
I really thought you were going to say the Blob.
Maybe the Blob will be the next big bad of the MCU. Maybe. Who knows? But a lot of people have been speculating that they actually did. This is not speculation. I think Hollywood Reporter made an article about it or something, but they took the title of Kang Dynasty off of the Avengers 5 movie.
Did you say, did they actually do that, or is it rumored?
I believe that's a Hollywood Reporter report, so I think that's like...
So it's not just speculation, it's like, right, that's what they did because they don't know what they want to do yet.
Yeah, okay. So I think that's solid. I would have to correct me if I'm wrong on that one, people. But they potentially could be pivoting to another big bad. I think it would be like a lot of work for them to completely pivot and not have Kang in the MCU anymore. So I don't think that's going to happen.
And to take a side note there, I would be interested to know how they ended Loki season 2. Did that have anything? Was that always planned, or did they end it the way they did because they were putting up a safety net?
Trouble.
Yeah,
right.
Where they're like, hey, if we have to get rid of Kang, or Jonathan Majors as Kang, we're going to now say the TVA is handling all Kang variants.
Right.
Or are we like, no, they're handling all of them, but there's going to be one that's become more powerful. Anyways, moving on.
So anyways, a lot of speculation that they potentially could be doing a soft pivot to Dr. Doom, which would make sense with Secret Wars, maybe a little Battle World mixed in there. But Dr. Doom has been highly speculated, casting wise. No confirmation from Marvel Studios or any of the main media sites. So I have a list of names again. Lightning round. Would you like them as Doctor Doom? Here we go. Cillian Murphy.
He'd be good. I'd be for that. He'd do a great job.
Yeah. Henry Cavill.
Can't hide a pretty man behind that mask.
That's true.
You need him.
Also,
who do you who would they even cast Henry Cavill at this point if they were to
Hyperion and Sentry were like the big ones
sure,
that I feel like
a Superman-esque, sure.
Right.
But
and Stephen Yeun is already casted as Sentry for Thunderbolts, so that's like off the table. But Hyperion is kind of the other one that's like Superman-esque type character, unless they like totally pivoted and had him play a different character, which he's a great actor, so he could almost probably nail it.
I would love hear me out, everybody. Come into the weeds with me. Come in here. Why am I blanking? An ultimate Iron Man. You make Henry Cavill.
Oh, okay.
Of a Tony Stark, and he fills in the role of Tony Stark in our universe.
Yeah. I feel like I have not watched I'm trying to think. I don't think I've watched a film in which Henry Cavill plays an antagonist, but I know he does in one of the Mission Impossible films.
Yeah.
But I feel like he's just a solid actor and could nail pretty much any role.
Yeah,
so I feel like I would be comfortable with him in a villain role too. But yeah.
But not one that's covering up his face.
True.
Can't do that.
He does have a beautiful face. Yeah, you can't cover that. So here we go. Next name. Mads Mikkelsen.
He's already been in stuff. So
that's true. He has. That actually was a rumor that was all over Twitter today.
Yeah.
So it's a rumor though. So, Giancarlo Esposito.
Again, it's like, isn't Dr. Doom supposed to be the same age as like Reed Richards? So like, are you going to have an old Reed Richards?
Right.
Yeah. That's how I feel about that. Where it's like, yeah, he'd be good, but like, are you going to like change up the OG story to make Dr. Doom an older guy and the Fantastic Four young?
Mm-hmm.
But
Nicolas Cage.
Well, I'm all for that.
Just got to talking about how Giancarlo Esposito's too old and Nicolas Cage.
Not Nick Cage. He's fine.
Okay.
I would love, and if people gotta know this who are comic fans, Nick Cage obviously took his name, and he'll say this, from Luke Cage.
Yeah,
and he's a big comic book fan.
Yeah,
but I think he's very much saying that. I'm sure he would want the right part. Dr. Doom probably wouldn't be that part for him, but
no, probably not. But
I think he'd be better served in like a show like Daredevil, being like a city villain. I think he'd be good there.
Yeah,
because Nick Cage could play a good villain.
Streets guy or something. Yeah, I could see that. Howard Stern.
How did this get on there? also wait.
This actually became it was a rumor last year in 2022. He actually on the Howard Stern show during a commercial break said that I'm assuming this is all a huge gag that he was playing on his listeners. He said some things about working for Kevin Feige and Marvel Studios. So there were people saying that he was playing
now hear me out. If he's a Doctor Doom variant in the Deadpool movie, I'm 100% about that. I don't foresee him being if he's going to be the big bad over like 4 movies, it's not going to be Howard Stern. But I'm all for it. I'm all for all these guys. Like, I think out of all the names you said so far, Cillian Murphy is probably your top dog. But
yeah, and then the last one, Danny DeVito.
No, too short.
No, what?
Yeah, Danny DeVito needs.
You want him as Wolverine?
Now we're talking. He better be. He better be.
Gosh, wouldn't that be okay? Having just like a hodgepodge of Wolverine variants, and Hugh Jackman is standing there, and you got Danny DeVito and Daniel Radcliffe like in the room with him. Wouldn't that be hilarious?
I'm blanking on his name. He's in The Boys. Isn't he playing a variant? The one who played Judge Dredd and Dredd. Why am I blanking on his name? He's in Star Trek. His name is on the tip of my tongue. He's like the main guy in The Boys.
Carl Urban?
Yeah, isn't he playing a variant of
yeah.
Wolverine?
Yeah. He there was a lot of talk about him playing a Wolverine variant a while back. Yeah. I could see it.
Oh, was it a rumor? My bad if it was a rumor.
It was a rumor, but like I don't know. I feel like if they're cast, I didn't have a list for you for Wolverine, but if they were casting a new Wolverine for the MCU, I feel like they're gonna want to go somebody shorter because Hugh Jackman.
Yeah, you know who they
was? He was a great Wolverine. Don't get me wrong, but like he's 6'3", I think. Like
he's tall. So
yeah,
if you do your research, I think one of the first people they were looking, or a few people that people will probably not, young people won't know who they are. So go look them up. 2 people that they were looking at to play Wolverine back in 2000, before they got Hugh Jackman, Bob Hoskins, the guy who's in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Sounds familiar. Oh, okay.
Yeah. And Glenn Danzig, the lead singer of the band Danzig. Go look them up. They're like super old. Well, Bob is dead now, but
I don't know that one.
And Glenn Danzig's old too. But it's like those are like they were going to try to do short actors or short,
right.
People
and then,
that are in,
and then Hugh Jackman probably came in and nailed the audition.
And they're like, well, and we only have to pay you like $10,000. Hell yeah! This movie ain't going to make that much money.
yeah. But anyways,
but Dr. Doom, and I'm dead serious, and I know Boss Logic made like some stuff about this, and I can attest. I said this before Boss Logic did this. Glenn Howerton as Dr. Doom. And he's Dennis in Always Sunny in Philadelphia. I think that dude, he has great facials. He's already a perfect villain in that show. But I'm saying that dude could really play a mean Dr. Doom, in my opinion. I know he's a little, he's under 50, but he's pushing 50. But I'm saying he could.
But he looks he looks pretty good. Yeah, right.
I think that's my poll. That's who I would be my sleeper pick for a good performance of Dr. Doom.
Okay, so how about Kang then? If you were to fan cast a recast.
Fan cast? And not Terrence Howard?
And not Terrence Howard.
And that's the thing.
Or anybody on the list. Do you have anybody else that
that's my thought. With Kang, are we still are we keeping the same look, or are we going totally off?
I feel like it's gonna be
do we gender bend
to do a? I don't know. Maybe do we? Do you have somebody in mind?
Who do I? Because I'm gonna be honest. I'm still Terrence Howard's in my mind for that.
That would be amazing.
But now when you brought up the actor and I'm blanking his name again,
circle.
the Hawkman actor, that dude would be just great.
Hodge,
but I think another guy that would be great would be what's Denzel Washington's son's name? That guy. I'm gonna have to look him up because he was in that movie with Robert Pattinson, Tenet, I think it was.
Oh yeah, John David Washington. Yeah. Oh,
that guy would be a good Kang replacement.
Mm-hmm.
Also, would be a good
he would be.
Black Panther replacement, but that's none of my business.
Let it be known, Marvel, that Mark would like you to recast Black Panther.
I'm not the only one that wants Black Panther recast. I'm putting that out there.
I'm not opposed to it. I would like to see a recast as well because he's a great character. So
and they killed him off, so it's that's hard. But
yeah, right. Yeah, that's
he got a disease. Oops, we couldn't access Doctor Strange or anybody because apparently no one talked to anybody after the blip happened.
Yeah,
post blip, but
even though at the end of Black Panther they were opening Wakandan borders, they're still completely.
They probably none of them were vaccinated for the world's diseases, and that's what got T'Challa.
I guess there you go. That's the fan theory. All right, that was it. That was it for new news. Great job, Mark.
You're welcome. You're welcome, everybody. This is why they pay me $0 to do this.
So, Marvel, if you're listening, those are who you should pull.
Those are my demands.
Those are who you should pull up for your audition. Give me pictures of Spider-Man. All right, next segment, we've got some hot or snot.
Hot or snot?
Hot or snot?
Hot or Snot is a segment that we created to kind of just recap a few things that we've liked over the past couple of weeks and some things that we've disliked. We get it hot if we like it, snot if we don't. So, Mark, what are your hots and snots?
Well,
for this
one of my
week?
hots was What If season 2.
Okay.
Then we
There you
talked
go.
at the beginning of the show. So,
Yep.
I don't really have any snots. I just, nothing's like sparked. And I never really was a hard snot person when we did this because I'm not really a big hater.
You got Max and Robbie that are the guys that have the long snot lists. I feel like those guys are like they're hating on everything. So me and you, I feel like I don't know if I give something less than a 3 out of 6, it's probably pretty bad because I feel like I can pull enjoyment out of most films and stuff that I watch.
Sure.
So,
but my one hot that I have left. And it's a rumor, and it's been spreading before. And also another person I said should play this person or this role.
Okay,
it's
all right.
Alan Richardson is rumored, or is like putting out there, like obviously they're putting feelers to see fan reactions, my opinion, to be Batman.
Oh, I did see that. I should have put that on my nerd news.
He's the lead in Reacher currently.
Reacher. Right.
He played he was a guy in Titans. I'm forgetting his name that he played there. He was also Thad Castle in Blue Mountain State for you football TV comedy nerds. But that dude
was in Smallville.
And yeah, he was Aquaman in Smallville. That's right. Right, he was Aquaman in Smallville. Yes.
Yeah, he was Aquaman in Smallville.
So I'm all for this guy. I thought, and he looks like him or Jensen Ackles would be a good Batman.
Yeah,
but like
Jensen Ackles would be good too. But he's like, I've been watching I haven't watched Reacher, but I've been watching the preview, and holy crap, that dude is massive.
I watched the first episode of Reacher, and I just haven't since. But he's a good actor, and he looks like Batman. He looks like Bruce Wayne, but
yeah.
So I hope he finds his way as the new Bruce Wayne Batman in the DCU. So
yeah, maybe. Gosh. And okay, so this is another piece of nerd news, I guess, but there's been a lot of people asking James Gunn about the Batman and if that's going to fit into the DCU somehow. And James Gunn, to his credit, he has been very active on social media, like debunking rumors and stuff like that. He's very honest and open about what he's doing with the DCU.
He's managing expectations of the fans, which has been a detriment to the MCU.
Yes, and the DCEU as well. I feel like both of them. But anyways, because Kevin Feige has never been public / like active on social media and all that stuff. So it's a very interesting take. But he confirmed recently that on Threads, I believe, is where he posted this, that Matt Reeves does not want the Batman to be a part of the DCU, so it will not be. It will continue to be Elseworlds or whatever they're calling.
And I love that they're like, hey, people love this. We'll have Elseworlds. We'll make that real. And I think he's in belief, and I'm with him. Hey, the majority of the audience that's going to come and pay to watch these movies are smart enough to understand that, hey, this can be separate. We can do this Batman, and then we can have the Batman that's in the other shows.
Right. Well, and that's been like I think James Gunn is taking, I mean, I feel like there are valid criticisms in how he's doing the DCU, but this is not one. I feel like he's handled this very well because like you just go back to the DCEU and like they were just trying to rope everything in as fast as possible so they could get a Justice League movie out. And I mean, it just ended in a mess. So you just don't want that to happen again. Like, just let everything develop naturally. The Batman was great. The Penguin show that is based on that looks like it's going to be solid. I think, let Matt Reeves do his thing.
On that note, with the Snyder, the Snyderverse stuff, is if nothing bad happened with Snyder's, I think it was his son who had the thing, I think the suicide, whatever. Moving on, sad stuff. And we didn't have crummy old Dustin Wheaton come in and screw everything up and give us a mustacheless Henry Cavill. We probably, that would have been, that whole run of the Snyderverse would have ended this year.
That's pretty wild to think about. Yeah.
So
you wonder what would have been if he was able to, and okay, like, I think we're pretty even on this podcast about Zack Snyder. Like, we're not like so high on him, but we're also, I think we also appreciate the things that he did. Like, you guys are all big Man of Steel fans. Like, he, you know, like he did some great things in the DCU. And I wonder what if he were able to fulfill his vision of Justice League, you know, how that would have played out. Because like, as it is, the Snyder cut of Justice League, it's, I thought it was good. It's better than the Justice League for sure, but it's still 4 hours long. I mean, like, nobody's going to the movie theater to see a 4 hour movie. You know,
he had a lot of time during COVID.
What do you cut down in that to make it a fulfilling, good movie that is not like Justice League, though? That's what I would have been interested to find out, you know?
And that's the thing, like you said, like they did this too early for the Justice League movie. Just
right.
have a Justice League movie where they should have waited 7 years and put a few more.
Let things develop. And they wouldn't have to cram so much junk.
Like the MCU are willing to sit through a 3 hour plus movie, like, you know, Endgame. So
yeah, like if you build it up correctly, people will be willing to do that. I feel like now people aren't going to sit through a 3 hour Marvel movie.
Now we're getting to the weeds a little bit with what I'm going to say. How much, I would like to know this stat, and we'll probably never know it. How much of movies, like actual run in the theaters and money making ability, have to do with critics having vendettas against certain people involved in movies to write bad reviews and knowing that their reviews are going to get pushed to the masses, and the masses, a lot of people, because apparently a lot of people still bank on critics to tell them whether or not they should go, you know, I'm not going to spend $20 to go see this movie because so-and-so and enough people said it's not good. So,
right.
I don't know how much of that is like they truly
a fascinating conversation, because honestly, the Snyderverse is that the Snyder fans are at the front of this because they believed that people were review bombing Snyder's films, and they in turn review bombed the MCU and even other DCEU films that they believed were against Snyder's vision. Like this whole review bombing concept kind of formed around the Snyderverse. In my opinion, like this whole fad has been, you know, the Snyderverse has been at the front of it. So it's a fascinating conversation. Like, what if we scaled back social media, let things play out like they did 20 years ago, where most of the stuff people heard about movies was word of mouth. And you went to a movie because your friend said it was good, or you saw a preview on TV or something and you thought it was good yourself.
Even 20 years ago, your local newspaper had someone who wrote their own review. So then you're now based on, does so-and-so who works for the newspaper like the genre of movies you want to go see? So it would be a combination of we would still get the critics' input.
That's true. But you don't get as many critics,
it'd be a lot of word of mouth, but
information overload as we have now with the internet. So it'd be an interesting conversation to have, for sure. Is that it for your hot and snot, though?
Yeah, that was it. It was just a Batman thing.
All right. So I've been catching up on a ton of my movies lately. This is all in the past like 2 weeks that I've watched all these movies. So I'm going to fire through a few of them here. I finally watched The Flash. I thought it was pretty good. I got to go back and listen to your guys' review on it, because I don't even know if I listened to it fully, which I got to look that up here. See which episode of the Infinity Bros podcast that our Flash review is. But I thought it was pretty good. Better than I expected it to be, probably because I had really low expectations coming into it because of all the bad things people were saying about it. So I thought it was pretty good. 4.5 out of 6. Still some kind of shoddy CGI. Like some of the CGI just looks like straight up artificial intelligence, right?
Garbage. That's another, like, I would love if someone did like a master level thesis or study on why has our VFX, visual effects, CGI for these types of movies just gone downhill in the last 10 years.
Yeah, interesting. You go back to like even like Lord of the Rings in the early 2000s, and that CGI still holds up. Like it's It's
It's
good.
it's not perfect though. I mean, you can.
No,
I
it's
mean,
not perfect. Like you can still
well,
tell that
here's
it's CGI, but
and to give like even like the first Avatar movie, like now that you watch it, it's like okay, yeah, it was good for its time. The second
Mhm.
Avatar movie, I mean, that's my one credit. Is like they did okay or like better
Right.
CGI
Well,
stuff, but
yeah, when your whole draw to go to the movie is that it's got the best CGI
it
ever,
better.
I mean, you better have good
But
CGI.
but that was the lackluster with the Flash. Is they just phoned
Right.
it in. They threw the ball. They threw in the towel. It's like good enough. We need to get this out into the theaters. Enough
Yeah,
reshoots.
yeah.
No more money to
Does.
spend.
Oh, and so on episode 167 of the Infinity Bros podcast, that's our Flash spoiler review. You, Mark, Max, and Robbie are all in
Mhm.
that episode reviewing the Flash. So I'm gonna go back and listen to that, and I'll put a link in the show notes to also that. But I thought it was all right. 4.5 out of 6. Also watched Blue Beetle, which is also streaming on Max now. I thought that one was good. CGI is better than the Flash by a mile. It's a really good. It's kind of like a back to basics superhero movie, which I appreciate because we've been getting so many layers of superhero movies now, and going back to just like a basic origin story, I feel like was refreshing, and I felt like the family aspect of that was probably one of the best. And I feel like the family aspect of the Shazam movies is really solid, like the best aspect of those movies as well. But Blue Beetle was really good. I give it a 5 out of 6. So
Does anyone
Mark, I would say you should go watch those because
has in
that
that
one for
movie?
sure
Did
was good.
any other heroes show up or get mentioned?
Um, mentioned, yes, but
But Blue
not
Beetle is just on
show.
his own. Does
Yeah.
does Booster Gold show up at all?
Do you want to know?
I mean, I do, but now I don't want to be spoiled.
Okay,
I'm a
spoilers.
big Booster Gold
3,
fan.
2, 1. No, Booster Gold does not show up in this.
Well, now I don't want to
But
see it.
okay, so I don't want to
I'm
like
kidding.
spoil too
I'm
much.
gonna go. That's fine. We can move on. I do want
So
to see
okay,
it. So
I will say it goes pretty deep into Blue Beetle lore,
oh,
which is kind of cool. And
okay.
I'm not a like I didn't know a whole lot about Blue Beetle
Like we're
going
talking
into this movie.
like thousands of years in the past lore type of stuff. Okay.
No. Like comics, like
Ah, okay,
Blue
okay.
Beetle, like the alter ego
Yeah,
of Blue Beetle. Like it does a pretty good job of that because one of the main characters is
because
a descendant
Jamie
of
Reyes is the Blue Beetle. Or
yeah.
that's who the main
Yeah.
actor is
Yep. Yeah,
playing.
exactly.
Okay.
But yeah, it was really good. So would recommend you go watch that. Next up on my hot list, these are all hots, by the way.
All
Leave
hots.
the World Behind.
Is
It's
that the Netflix movie?
yeah, Netflix movie, and it's basically a modern like apocalypse. Like what would happen if like modern they basically shut down all technology, like modern terrorizing of America. And it's very fascinating. I don't think it's like the best story ever, but it is fascinating to as the story unfolds. Like, man, how the characters react to everything is almost exactly as how I would imagine if I would react in that situation. So I thought it was great movie, great cast. Really interesting. Think I gave that one a 5 out of 6 as well. It's pretty good.
Did you ever see the movie Transcendence with Johnny Depp?
That's the one where he like uploads his consciousness,
Yeah.
isn't it?
Yeah.
I think I did see that one at some point.
Because
It's been a long time though.
it just made me think of like the ending of that, where it's like how they defeat him is basically eliminating all like electronic, like modern technology stuff. So it just makes me, and like they're living in a wasteland basically because they did that.
And I feel like the interesting thing about this is like you get apocalyptic stories nowadays that like I Am Legend and even Last of Us and stuff like that, where like this is years in the future after this happened, but this is like when it happens, like right now. Like the apocalypse happens and you're watching people react to it in real time. It's pretty fascinating. So would definitely recommend going to watch that. It's a little eerie, creepy in a thriller sense, I guess. I don't know really how to genre describe that one, but my last one movie on my hot list here is Violent Night. Finally got around to watching that. Loved it. I love David Harbour. He's fantastic. And I just thought he played that so it was a perfect mix of like genuinely great acting and a lot of like just Christmas like cheesiness and like action cheesiness thrown in there. But this is going to be a perennial or annual, excuse me, rewatch because I absolutely loved it. So I gave that a 5.5 out of 6. Wow. Loved Violent Night.
So I like wonder.
Have you watched that one?
I haven't, but I've seen the movie. Have you seen the movie? It's called Santa's Sleigh, where it's the wrestler Goldberg is playing. This one he plays an evil Santa. I know kind of the synopsis of Violent Night, but it just makes me think of that movie when I first saw this. It's like, I wonder if someone saw this and they're like, hey, let's kind of do this, but like Santa's kind of a good guy.
Spin on this, right? Yeah, exactly. Interesting. Yeah, it'd be interesting to find out. I haven't watched that one, but yeah, I loved it.
I think I purchased it like on VOD, so like I technically own the movie, just never watched it yet. So
there you go. I'm probably biased because I love David Harbour in pretty much anything that he's in, but yeah, I thought it was fantastic. Definitely going to be a rewatch every Christmas type of thing. So. And I have one video game on my hot. I finished up Hogwarts Legacy last night, and it's great. I love that game. I'd give it a 5 out of 6 as well. It's I love the best thing about that game, honestly, is the immersiveness, and like you get in there and you're like, wow, the environment is like really cool. You get to explore Hogwarts like very extensively. It's a pretty big map. It's set like, I don't know, something like 1,000 years before the events of like Harry Potter, all that stuff happens. So it's like all original characters. You see like references to, like there's Weasleys in there and, stuff like that. But it's a really cool game. I think it was a little more, the main storyline was a little bit more drawn out than I would have liked it to be. I think I played, and this is also me having squirrel like and getting lost on side quests and stuff, but I think I ended up playing about like 38 hours before I finished the main quest line. So I think if you streamlined it, you could probably finish it in like 20, 25 or something like that, but a little bit longer than your like average single player game, I feel like. Sure. So that one was a little bit drawn out to me, but otherwise, lore wise, it was really fun to get into a really good Harry Potter game, which I don't know if I've ever played before. So pretty cool. And I have one thing on my Snot list that I finally got around to watching Black Adam. And we've talked about that a little bit. Same things that you've already mentioned, like the Justice Society was the best part of that movie. Loved Pierce Brosnan as Dr. Fate and Aldous Hodge as Hawkman. Honestly, that's pretty much it as far as positives go. Like Dwayne Johnson's like not bad as Black Adam, but you can definitely tell that he's just like in it all for himself, and he doesn't really care about. And like, was that movie
a victim of reshoots? Like that's another thing. What I felt it just felt either
good question,
bad directing and cinematography, or just a victim of reshoots. But
yeah, could be.
And they gave us the biggest red herring of bringing back Henry Cavill as Superman just like weeks later.
Yeah, right. And that just was so like, and obviously I knew that was happening because this movie's been out for like a year plus, right? Like it's been out for a while. So I like knew that was in the post credits, but even knowing that, I was like, this is so random. Like, like really?
Hey, Amanda Waller sent him to go tell Black Adam to stay out of America's business.
Right, just like what the heck is this about? Like, this
or to not like silly. Bring Shazam in there, like because that's really
right. That makes way more sense. It makes way more sense to do Shazam. It was dumb. But like I said, I feel like Dwayne Johnson falls in this rut of playing himself in most movies. I feel like he did a good enough job of not doing that in this one, so it wasn't horrible, but it still wasn't great or inspiring. I wouldn't say he was the iconic Black Adam character. Nobody can play him after that, you know.
When it took 15 years to make that movie?
Yeah, right? Like from fan cast to actually releasing the movie, it was like 14, 15 years, something like that. Just pretty ridiculous. But the worst part of the movie was the family and the kid.
Yeah,
I've already forgot about them.
Totally,
like, they were so forgettable.
Totally unnecessary to have them, in my opinion.
Yeah, it just was totally like
you didn't need them
not
at all,
interesting at all. Yeah,
I was really impressed with the villain choice they made there, but then they kind of just let that die in the vine. So
Yeah. So yeah, that wasn't good. I'd still, because like honestly, it was the Justice Society parts were fun and interesting. So I still gave it a 3 out of 6. And to be honest, I think I liked that one better than Shazam 2. Shazam 2, you haven't seen that one yet? Shazam 2 came out this year, and I got around to watching that a couple months ago. That one was rough, dude. And maybe you will like that one a little bit more than me, because the villains are strong Power Rangers villains vibes. Like it's pretty bad. But maybe somebody who likes and appreciates Power Rangers more than me will like that better. I don't know, but maybe. But the family aspect of Shazam 2 is the only thing that saved that movie, because the rest of it was bad. So I think I also gave Shazam 2 like a 3 out of 6, but I think I like Black Adam better than Shazam 2. So yeah, there you go. Black Adam is my snot. So that's it for Hot and Snot.
All right.
Last thing we got on the menu here is our top 6.
Top 6.
We're going in 3. You're entering the top 5 on the Infinity Bros podcast. Starting now.
Top 6 Christmas movies. Get all festive and stuff. So Merry Christmas, everybody. Hopefully this releases on December 24th and you get something to listen to while you're traveling to family's Christmas thing.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday. I'm really interested because you said you had this list done within minutes of me telling you what we're doing.
Yeah.
So do you want to go? Let's alternate.
Okay.
We'll start with our number 6 and go back and forth until we hit 1. So Mark, go ahead.
I'm going old school, and I have a few honorable mentions.
For
you new listeners, I used to always have honorable mentions, and then I was poked fun of by everyone, and then I stopped doing them, and then all of a sudden everyone else started doing them. So how about that?
Funny how that works.
So here are my honorable mentions. Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the original. Great classic. Other one, if you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's called Fat Man. It's Mel Gibson playing Santa Claus.
I've heard of that one. I haven't watched it. And
another one that we got for our first, I think it was released last year, was Spirited, the Ryan Reynolds, Will Ferrell Christmas movie. I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, that one's fun. I like it.
But my number 6, might get some flack for this from the people, is Happiest Season. And I think it's a Hulu original. It has like Kirsten Stewart's in it, and
okay. Is it Hallmark vibesy or better than Hallmark vibesy?
This would not be a Hallmark movie.
Okay.
Isaac.
Okay. All right.
But go check it out. It might, it's not for everybody. It was released in 2020, so it was a COVID movie. But I mean, like it was produced pre-COVID, but released during COVID.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So one of those.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's a Hulu original. So yeah.
All right. Okay. So since you did some honorable mentions, I had some that I had to leave it off my list. So I'll do some honorable mentions too. Okay. I already mentioned. So you feel included. So just doing this for you.
I am an all-inclusive person.
I know you are. But anyways, I already mentioned Violent Night. I really loved it. And honestly, like I said before, it's going to be an annual watch for me because I thought that one was fantastic. So that one, what other one did I leave off of my list? I think there's some on there that I have to watch every year that I feel like I get tired of, but when I watch them, truly, I realize that they're good movies, but I watch them every year and I just get sick of them. It's like your Home Alone, your Christmas Story.
Why can't I quit you?
Like they're Elf. Even I'll throw Elf in there too, and that might be like hypocrisy to some people, but like it's like you see those so many times every Christmas season that you're just kind of like numb to them, you know. And they're still good movies. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy it. We just watched Home Alone tonight, and it was great. But it's those movies you just get a little sick of every Christmas season. So those I'll mention. My number 6 though is I might have a little kooky list because these are all like very nostalgic.
They're all VeggieTales Christmases.
All 6 of them are VeggieTales Christmas.
Bible Man saves Christmas. I just imagine Isaac can only get 2 movies for his top 6.
And one is the 1976 Christmas movie that's like live action and, you know, just terribly produced.
Star Wars holiday special.
Holiday special. Oh my gosh. Okay. That was a good one, Mark. You got me on that one. Number 6 is Garfield Christmas. Grew up watching this and I gotta watch it every year. Like it just brings me such great nostalgia. It's so much fun. And even though like rewatching it now as an adult, I'm like, wow, this is like story-wise, this is terrible. This is just what holiday specials end up being. You know, it's just like an excuse to make an episode of Christmas something or other. But I remember that's the most nostalgic one I have on my list. I remember sitting at my grandma and grandpa's house and watching this every Christmas, and it's just it's a blast of the past. So if you haven't watched that, it is on Amazon Prime, so go ahead and check that. It's only like a 25-minute like holiday special, I think. But Garfield Christmas, my number 6.
My number 5 is Elf, so take that, Isaac.
I don't fault people. It's great. It is a really good movie. I don't fault people for liking it or anything like that.
I also now love, having learned this, the story behind Elf, where they had like, hey, we're just making this movie, whatever happens to it, whatever, and just makes them a ton of money, and like, you know, basically slingshots the career of Will Ferrell, and who was Jon Favreau was and Zooey Deschanel was like, that was one of her first movies too. Basically, that movie slingshotted their careers. So
right. My number 5 is, and this is probably my oddest one on this list because I have all of the nostalgia picks, and this one is Christmas with the Cranks. This is one that
not bad.
My wife and I have to watch every year together. And I don't know why it's even started as a tradition that my wife and I watch it together, but like it's just a good time, man. Like Tim Allen and Jamie Lee Curtis just ham it up. It's super cheesy. It's just a good time. It's a good Christmas flick.
Good time. That's what you want with Christmas movies.
Yeah, exactly. You want to feel good, and that movie makes you feel good.
All right. My number 4 is The Muppets Christmas Carol.
Solid.
Nothing like a serious Michael Caine with a bunch of Muppets.
Oh my gosh, it is so funny how serious and well he acts in that movie. Like it's you got to be a great actor to sit there and tell a Muppet to their face, you know, like the serious lines that he did in that movie. Just phenomenal.
So that was my
number. Yeah, there you go. My number 4 is I've got a couple of these on here, so brace yourselves. Holiday Inn. It's a old gosh, I'm trying to remember what year this is. Probably like 50s. 1942. Just looked it up here. Bing Crosby and Fred Astaire, black and white, you know, like it's a classic. Like they got Bing Crosby singing White Christmas, and man, this is what just gives you like the warm Christmas vibes. Like putting this on, if you have a fireplace, throwing that on, you know, like with the Christmas tree in the corner with all the lights and stuff like that. This one and the next movie I have on my list, those are the Christmas vibes for sure. But yeah, Christmas music, like OG Christmas music, a lot of great singing and dancing. Max would not be a fan of it because it's, you know, a musical, but it's a great one. So Holiday Inn. Yeah, screw Max.
So my number 3 might be I don't think a lot of people know. But it's called a Merry a Very Merry Christmas. And
I've seen that one on Netflix, right?
yeah. And it came out a few years ago. Well, might be like 10 years ago at this point. But the synopsis is, Bill Murray has a show and it's a blizzard in New York and he's afraid no one's going to come, and like a bunch of celebrities, like it's kind of like a who's who, like kind of shows pops in, and like there's just I like it. It's
I might have to. I always kind of wondered because it seems like it looks like it's like a comedy special. But I'm always like, is that a real movie? Like,
I mean, it kind of is a special. It's only like an hour long, so it's not like a true movie, but it's
right.
Christmas themed and it's great.
We'll have to throw that one on. Yeah, cool, nice.
It is TVMA, so it's not like a children friendly movie.
We'll throw it on when the children are
the children. The children.
My number 3 is a continuation of the classics. It is It's a Wonderful Life with Jimmy Stewart. That's another one that I remember watching at my grandma and grandpa's house, and it just gives you the warm Christmas fuzzies, like just...
My grandma would have to have that movie on when we were opening Christmas presents. So.
And it's such again, this is a very nostalgic list for me. The movie itself, every time I watch it, I'm like, man, I guess I didn't remember how boring this movie is. Like, it gets kind of long.
This is exciting for the boomer generation, but not for us millennials. We need murder.
Every time I watch it, though, right? We need murder, violent night, horror films about Christmas.
We need Die Hard Batman to fulfill our Christmas needs.
Oh gosh! But every time I watch it, I don't know. I feel like I get filled with the Christmas spirit. So, another one of those warm Christmas fuzzy movies.
Oh yeah, my turn. My number 2 is The Christmas Chronicles. It's a Netflix movie where why am I blanking on his name?
Kurt Russell?
Kurt Russell plays Santa Claus. Great. Love it. And they have a second one. It's also good.
Okay.
I think they did a great job.
Because that's another one I scroll past it every time.
It's family friendly and, great. I think I'll Die on the Hill. Great stuff. I think it might be one of the best Santas in the modern age. So.
Oh, okay. All right. There we go. My number 2 is the 1967 version of The Grinch That Stole Christmas. Man, I always, again, the nostalgia is strong in this one. Boris Karloff and Thurl Ravenscroft's voices in this just, I don't know. It's a Christmas thing, man. It's special. And I remember, I don't know why, but in high school I got like obsessed with the Grinch like song, and I sang that for ensembles one year in choir, and still to this day I can pretty much sing the entire song by heart just because I watched it so much. And
all right, go ahead.
It's a fun. You want me to? I don't know if I can.
All right. Well, if you're too nervous, that's fine.
Now I'm feeling.
Yeah, if you got the butterflies, that's fine. We can move on.
You're a mean one, Mr. Grinch. You really are a heel. And so on and so forth.
I think we have a future in Infinity Bros Christmas album.
Christmas album. Oh gosh.
Pretty much all sang by Isaac, because clearly he can sing.
No.
We have other people who can sing.
We got Robbie, who would be like, doing punk rock versions of Christmas songs. It would be fantastic.
And Max would get hit. Never mind. I was gonna make a Mormon joke. But too easy.
Not here, Mark. Not here.
Not right here, dog. Not right here.
Yeah. All right. This is it. Number 1. Your number 1 Christmas movie.
My number 1 is How the Grinch Stole Christmas. But
yay.
The live action.
Jim Carrey?
With Jim Carrey, yeah.
Yes. Yep. My wife loves that one. So
that is we watched it last night or the other night. I forget which night it was. I watch it all the time, I have it on Blu-ray. I watch it on physical media.
See, that's like a quotable one, like the whole year long. Like you can quote that movie any time of the year, and it's phenomenal.
And what's wild now is Cindy Lou Who's father in that movie is Mr. Noodles from Sesame Street, which I know very much about Mr. Noodles now, having a toddler So, so the dad in
All
that
right.
movie is one of the many Mr. Noodles from Sesame Street, in Elmo's world specifically. So,
Okay,
there you
good
go.
to know.
Yeah.
Mark fact there for you. My number one favorite Christmas movie of all time is the Charlie Brown Christmas special. This is another nostalgic one that I got to watch every year. And I feel like I get the warm fuzzies for this one because it's a commercialized version that includes the actual Christmas story in it, which I just feel like you just don't get these days, even to this day. And man, it gets me every time when Linus is up on that stage, reciting the Christmas story. It's a good one, man. But yeah, another warm Christmas movie that just gets me in the Christmas spirit. And the Vince Guaraldi trio that does the soundtrack for all of the Peanuts TV series special stuffs, amazing. They do some incredible Christmas music too. Like the Christmas Time Is Here, they created that song for that Christmas special. So some really, really cool stuff that comes out of that Christmas special. That's my number one.
Very nice. I enjoyed that your list was a lot of like true Christmas specials, like not necessarily a movie, but specials.
Right. Yeah,
and, like,
I thought about that too,
oldies.
because I kind of assumed that you were gonna have
more modern,
like or not even more modern, but you were gonna have like Batman Returns and throw some like
that was my initial thought. Was just like
maybe this is Christmas, maybe this isn't. Type
it happens during Christmas. It's a Christmas movie.
Yep, the classic like Die Hard. Is this a Christmas movie? Isn't it a Christmas movie? Blah blah blah. All that kind of stuff. I'm surprised in a good way, Mark.
That would be a fun list. Do a specific list of movies that are not necessarily Christmas movies, but happen during Christmas.
Yeah, that's maybe our next top 6 list, Mark.
So I'm sure there are plenty that you would not really like. Die Hard's not really a Christmas movie. It's a movie that happens during Christmas. Batman Returns is 100% a Christmas movie, but here nor there.
Here nor there. All right. Well, you heard it here first on the Infinity Bros podcast. Batman Returns is a Christmas movie. Die Hard is not. From our esteemed Infinity Bro.
And I've watched like over 1,000 movies, so like I have a very serious opinion on this. Objectively, of course.
Objectively, yeah, of course, absolutely. Literally
my objective opinion on this is fact.
It is fact. And with that fact, we should probably close out because this episode's gonna turn out to be almost hour 45 pretty much at this point. So love you guys 3000. Have a very Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays from the Infinity Bros to you. Thanks for joining me, Mark.
God bless everybody. Every one of us.
Everyone. All right, good night, everybody. Bye.
Thanks for tuning in to the Infinity Bros podcast. You can find the Infinity Bros on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Twitch, and YouTube at The Infinity Bros. You can also check out our website at theinfinitybros.com for links, reviews, and sweet merch. Feel free to send us listener feedback via social media or email at infinitybrospodcast@gmail.com.